I'm interviewing Mr. Steve Cruz. He's a pharmacist at Walgreens. What degrees have you attained?
I have attained a bachelor's in biochemistry, and I got a doctor of pharmacy degree.
How long were you in school?
It was a total of 8 years.
You don't need a receipt?
Have you ever thought that you wanted to do something else?
Yes. I something that I thought that I would have liked to have done if pharmacy was not an option would have been to become a physician's assistant.
How would you describe the level of stress with this job?
Very high.
Why do you think it's high?
The reason it's high, it's because you have, a lot of things going on at once. So oftentimes you have to multitask. Well, all the time you have to multitask. You have the phone ring, you have patients in the waiting area waiting for prescriptions, you have patients in the drive-thru waiting to either pick up or drop off, phone calls, plus, things that you need to, your regular job, fill, verify prescriptions. So it gets very stressful at times.
Which of your natural talents help you succeed the most in this field?
Natural talents? I'd have to say perseverance, just never giving up. That's basically kind of like what helped me get to where I'm at, and it's kind of what's helped me, be able to do the work that I do.
Describe a typical day.
Typical day? There's this adage that they say in pharmacy, every day is an adventure. But a typical day here in the world of pharmacy at Walgreens, you come in, you open up, you fill prescriptions, from the night before if they need to be filled. You make phone calls to patients to make sure that they're not having any issues with the new medications that they recently picked up. Then from then on, it's just taking care of the customer as they come in, to either drop off prescriptions, to pick up prescriptions, or to give them, flu shots, pneumonia shots, shingle shots, etc., whatever they need.
What difficulties do you constantly face in this field?
I think one of the difficulties that I face is the lack of understanding sometimes from the patient side. They always, not always, but oftentimes patients believe that we are the ones that set prices for their medications, which is not the case. Oftentimes patients want to get their medications in 5 minutes, but there's a lot more than just slapping a label on a bottle for a patient. So that's one of the difficulties, it's communicating with patients what really goes on back here versus what they see from the outside, outside the window. One quick second.
Go ahead.
So, I've been doing this for 10 years. I did it in the military. I worked for one of the competitors, Target, and I really enjoyed it. I like what I do. But it is very stressful. You do work, different schedules. You're not set to one particular schedule, especially in retail. So that's something, to keep in mind when you're deciding your future is what kind of, quality of life, what kind of, what things are important to you. Because working in retail, you will be working holidays, weekends, evenings. Some positions do require you to work overnight, so it's something to keep in mind.
That's how I am, though. Like, I'm on all the job applications. Yes, I will work weekends, I'll work holidays.
Yeah, but because that's kind of how I see. It's like I wanna work. I need to work. So you'll do whatever it takes to get, to pay your bills. But at the end of the day, you have to remember too that sometimes it can take a toll on you. You know what I mean? So be cognizant of that. Be aware of that. Make sure that you're 100% certain that pharmacy is what you want to do. And if there's any hesitation,
I know my sister, she was getting her degree in pharmacy. She was like, no, I can't deal with all this chemistry, it's too hard. So now she's doing a teacher, but I can deal with, like, I'm pretty much all around
you're good, yeah.
with every subject. And I figured, like, people always tell me, if you're good at math and science, then you should definitely go into the medical field.
Yeah, well, keep in mind that all of the prerequisites are the same for any science field. Like if you want to become a physician, if you want to become a physician assistant, pharmacist, the foundation is the same. So if you meet the requirements for pharmacy, more than likely you've met the requirements for PA and or physician. So, you have options. All right. So if you're not 100% sure that this is what you want to do, make sure you reassess and really figure out what's important to you.
I know you mentioned that you were in the military. What other things did you do before you entered, before you started in retail?
Okay. That was pretty much it. So right after high school, I joined the military, and that's kind of where I got introduced to pharmacy, and I really liked it. And that's where I said, let me try to become a pharmacy technician. And from there, I was like, I like this. I think I want to do this for the rest of my life. And that's what I did. I left the military to go to pharmacy school so that I can become a pharmacist. Give me 1 second.
Is there anything that you're afraid of, particularly in this field?
Afraid of? Yeah. I'm afraid of making mistakes. I'm afraid of giving the wrong medication to the wrong person. I'm afraid of filling a prescription incorrectly. I'm afraid of hurting somebody. Like that is, it's a big fear. Let me tell you, it is a big fear.
The last question is, what advice can you give me in regards to pursuing this field, and if or when I get into this field, what I should do, what I should remember?
I'll give you, to get in this field, I'm going to let you know that it's tough. The prerequisites are tough. The undergrad work that you need to do is tough. It's hard. You're going to spend a lot of time studying. Your whole, your time when you're in school, it's going to revolve around studying, for you to get in. It's difficult. You're going to have some, you're going to have to pull some all-nighters. It's going to happen. In terms of when you get into this field, just work hard, and this field will give you whatever you want.
Thank you.
You have to work hard. You know what I mean? Be professional, work hard, and you'll be fine.
Thank you. That was so good.
Everywhere. So you're right. I know Walgreens is pretty good about. If there's a need, they'll bring you in, and then they'll train you to be a pharmacy technician. I'm a floater, and so I move around to different stores, and I have met some technicians that started working out there, and then when there was an opening here, they needed somebody, and they offered, hey, do you want to go in there into the pharmacy? And they said yes, and then they came in here and they trained, and then they even got them their what do you call it? Their national certification. So that's something that looks good. But again, Walgreens is just one of those companies that actually tries to do things for their employees. So if you're ever thinking about that, try Walgreens, see how that goes.